Greetings, fellow BHS members, and Good Yom Tov. We are Mark Katz
and Jennifer Zaslow,
and this year's Kol Nidre appeal comes to you directly from our kitchen table. Now, perhaps you may remember me from last year's annual appeal, and this evening I'd like to provide an update. We did it. In the midst of chaos and dislocation, when our synagogue doors were locked and membership and preschool enrollment was dropping, we set an ambitious fundraising goal that was equal to our widening budget deficit and successfully raised $290,000, far more than we've ever raised before. For that, we can be proud of ourselves and grateful to those who contributed above and beyond their membership dues.
And speaking of pride, we just came home from Rosh Hashana services, and we've never been more proud to be BHS members. The sanctuary at Plymouth was only about a third full, but it was full of ruach, full of spirit. I witnessed elbow bumps and many hugs, and I myself experienced a hug that nearly brought me to tears. The choir that I sing in wore gigantic singer's masks, which you might have noticed, all organized by the wonderful cantor Ayelet. And even though they were quite uncomfortable, I have to say, I've never been more moved to sing in that choir. The messages from our president, Marcia Bellows, and Rabbi Serge were messages of optimism and resilience. And most moving was the shofar blowing by the wonderful Stuart Sachs and his daughter Zoe. If you watched, you know that the rabbi and the cantor did a lot of work to ensure that we complied with CDC guidelines, and so we threw open the doors and had the shofar blown on the front steps of Plymouth Church. It was like a call not only to our congregants, but Jews all over Brooklyn and maybe the world. It was an incredible moment.
It really was. And Rosh Hashana was the culmination of an amazing year for our synagogue as we watched our synagogue swing into action, shape-shifting to fill all kinds of needs with equal parts compassion and ingenuity, all the while keeping us physically distanced and spiritually connected, as they say. And now, it's time to do it all over again.
Last year's appeal raised $290,000. It was the most successful appeal in the 60-plus year history of BHS. So thank you. Thank you. With that money, we filled the deficit created by lost revenue, and we made it possible for families who were struggling financially to maintain their membership and keep their children in religious school. We also maintained the salaries of the full-time staff who run BHS, from clergy to administrators to teachers to support staff. We also applied for and received a federal PPP loan to help us do just that.
In short, thanks to you and thanks to what we raised a year ago, we made it through the most challenging year BHS has ever known.
This year's appeal is less dire, but no less urgent. It's worth saying that many synagogues saw membership and engagement fall off a cliff in the last year. That is not what happened at BHS. The numbers tell the story. For us, while membership is down, it's moving in the right direction. And for us, preschool and religious school enrollment continue to be down, but are moving in the right direction. And here's something else that tells our story. The scaffolding outside our home at 131 Remsen Street. If you haven't walked by, we really encourage you to do so. Despite the hardships of the last year, our ambitious plans to expand our community's space have continued undaunted. To us, there is no clearer sign of this community's resilience. We are rebounding and rebuilding, slowly but surely, and with your help, we'll continue to do so in the year ahead.
Our goal for this year's Kol Nidre appeal is to raise $200,000 to support the operations of our synagogue. That's less than we raised last year, but more than we need to raise in a typical year, and it's the exact amount we need to fill the gap between the revenue from membership dues and what it costs to run BHS day to day.
Here's some more good news. A number of families have stepped forward with a match to help us reach our goal. They've offered to match every dollar contributed by families who have not participated in the appeal in the last 3 years, up to $1,800.
So if that includes you, that means your contribution of, say, $1,800 would actually equal $3,600. So, to wrap up, let's all of us reunite in full force next year at this time to celebrate, among other things, reaching the goal of this year's Kol Nidre appeal. And it all starts with the pledge that you can make this week.
In the meantime, from our family to yours, a good Yom Tov and an easy fast to us all.
Yeshana
Tova.